Today is March 31st. Today, we see family disorientation. Reading from the book of Matthew again, Matthew 10:17-23. Beware of them, the ravenous wolves, for they'll hand you over to councils and flog you in their synagogues. You'll be dragged before governors and kings because of me as a testimony to them and the Gentiles. When they hand you over, don't worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you at that time. For it's not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Sibling will betray sibling to death, and a father his child. Children will rise against parents and have them put to death, and you'll be hated by all because of my name. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in this town, flee to the next. For truly I tell you, you will not have finished going through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Here in this passage, Jesus promises rejection. You'll be handed over to councils. You'll be flogged. You'll be dragged before governors and kings. Then we come to the book of Acts, and guess what? They are handed over to councils. We see that in Acts chapter 4, Acts chapter 5, and later in Acts chapter 22. They are flogged. We see that in Acts chapter 5 when Peter is flogged, and in Acts chapter 21 when Paul is flogged. And then finally, they're dragged before governors and kings. Acts chapter 25. Paul stands before Felix and Festus, governors of the area. In the Old Testament, we see a reference also to the family disorientation that Jesus talks about. Brother against brother, father against child, children against parents. Let's read Micah chapter 7.
Micah 7, New Revised Standard Version. Woe is me, for I have become like one who, after the summer fruit has been gathered, after the vintage has been gleaned, finds no cluster to eat. There is no first ripe fig for which I hunger. The faithful have disappeared from the land, and there is no one left who is upright. They all lie in wait for blood, and they hunt each other with nets. Their hands are skilled to do evil. The officials and the judge ask for a bribe, and the powerful dictate what they desire. Thus they pervert justice. The best of them is like a briar, the most upright of them a thorn hedge. The day of their sentinels of their punishment has come. Now their confusion is at hand. Do not trust in a friend. Have no confidence in a loved one. Guard the doors of your mouth from her who lies in your embrace. For the son treats the father with contempt. The daughter rises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Your enemies are members of your own household. But as for me, I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Do not rejoice over me, my enemies. When I fall, I shall rise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord will be a light to me. I must bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him until he takes my side and executes judgment for me. He will bring me out to the light. I shall see his vindication. Then my enemies will see, and shame will cover those who said to me, Where is the Lord your God? My eyes will see their downfall. Now they will be trodden down like the mire of the streets. A day for the building of your walls. On that day they will come to you from Assyria and Egypt, and from Egypt to the river, from sea to sea, and from mountain to mountain. But the earth will be desolate because of its inhabitants, for the fruit of their own doings. Shepherd your people with your staff, and the flock that belongs to you, which lives alone in the forest, in the midst of a garden land. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in the days of old, as in the days when you came out of the land of Egypt. Show us marvelous things, as in the day when you came out of the land of Egypt. Show us marvelous things. The nations shall see and be ashamed of all their might. They shall lay their hands on their mouths. Their ears shall be deaf. They shall lick dust like a snake. Like the crawling things of the earth, they shall come trembling out of the fortress. They shall turn in dread to the Lord your God. And they shall stand in fear of you. Who is a God like you, pondering iniquity, and passing over the transgressions of the remnant of his possession? He does not retain his anger forever, because he delights in showing steadfast love. He will again have compassion upon us. He will tread out our iniquities underfoot. You will show faithfulness to Jacob and steadfast love to Abraham, as you have sworn to our ancestors from the days of old.
So here in Micah chapter 7, very clearly we see a prediction of family disorientation. The natural flow of things is disrupted when people reject God and reject his message. Families are destroyed. But Micah promises restoration to those who remain faithful. God will restore even in the midst of family disorientation. What do we do about this today? Think about your own family, your own friends. Do you have a member of the family who's distanced themselves from you? You have a friend who has ghosted you. Well, pray for them today. Ask God to restore that relationship so you can continue to let them know about you. Did you like what you hear today? Follow us